and we're now at the stage where we're going to cover the aircraft and it will then look like an airplane. At the moment it's a skeleton. So we have here the wing that is been tensioned up, all the internals have been fitted off. We're now going to be covering it, and this has to be checked first, because once it's covered you won't see inside it, you won't get inside it. It's going to be covered with this kind of material here. It's a very, originally it was Irish linen, now it's what we call segonite, and it's a heat resistant, material. We put it on, then we heat it and it shrinks. It goes like metal, so from the distance you'll think this is a metal aeroplane. This is the actual one of the wings that we've got 4 wings on this thing. It's a biplane, so you've got 2 wings one side, 2 wings the other side. So we're now at the stage, we've ordered up the material, it cost us about £8,000, and we've got the glues and such like to go with it. The procedure is, we put glue on here, put the material across, glue then goes through the material and it sticks. There's actually parts that will be stitched so that the material, a needle will go down through and come back up again. So there'll be one guy one side pushing the needle up and one pushing it down. Quite a new thing for a man to do, is to do needlework. So this will take quite a few days to complete. Well, we haven't done this before. We'd like some women to show us maybe how to do stitching. But as you can see, it's a big area at the cover, and it'll look, as I say, it'll look like metal. We then will put the RAF circles on, we'll put the numbers on, and then it'll fly at the end of this year.
How long has it taken to get to this stage?
This has taken us 16 years, and unfortunately there's quite a few guys who have died in the process, you know, because we're quite mature in our age, and we're not all in the youth of health as well. But so it's important that we finish it this year. This is 100 years of the design. We have behind me here the drawings of how it was built, and so we know how it is built, and we've done it exactly as 100 years ago. So this is not a patched up or repaired. So the guys that's working on this, I think it's been roughly about 15 people per day on 2 days a week. So if you divide that back the way and make it 5-day week, we would have produced it a bit quicker. They did, yes. They were. It was their latest fighter plane at its time. It was used for bombers. It was used for fighter planes. It was used for reconnaissance. In the early, the 1917, 1916, these aeroplanes were the leading edge. There was no such thing as the RAF. The hierarchy in the military just looked on as gunneries and infantry. They didn't realise how important RAF or flying could be until these sort of things came along. This was the first one, a leading edge of putting air brakes on an airplane. So this allows you to slow down coming into land. It's all very well travelling at high speeds, but when you come into land, you don't want to come in at a high speed. So this one allowed us to, it was the first airplane that had air brakes, you know, so you could nicely come in and land. It was the first one, a British one, that could fire through the propeller. We experimented, the British experimented with firing through the propeller, because if you could fire from behind somebody, you have more chance of killing them or knocking them out of the sky. Before this one, you had to fly alongside the baddies. And the baddies waited for you to get your gun lined up, or you know, your pistol or whatever. So it wasn't a very good combination. But once you could fire through the propeller, worlds changed. You know.
So it was quite a technological leap forward.
It was a big leap forward. A big leap forward. If you see all the aeroplanes nowadays, they're either firing rockets forward or such like, you know. So it was a big improvement. This was, if you can imagine, looking back in life. The cars on the road and this aeroplane. Cars on the road were doing about 10 miles an hour. Trains were very slow, maybe about 20 miles an hour. This thing was doing 100. So these guys were like your space astronauts. They were in unknown territory. people would train them, but even the trainers didn't know, what really to say. So the guys went up and had to experiment, and then they became the better trainers. This aeroplane on takeoff was susceptible to engine failure, and we didn't really know what to do if you had an engine out, because we didn't really have gliders. These were quite important learning curves.
Yeah. You mentioned the engine there. What type of engine is this aircraft going to be?
This is it had a rotary engine, where the cylinders go round with the propeller. Whereas the modern one there, the cylinders or pistons stay still, and the propeller goes round. It's the shaft that goes round. So we've gone to the modern engine because the old engines were unreliable. Before the war, we used the magnetos for the spark, and they were German magnetos. But when the war started, they refused to give us any more.
Understandably.
Well, maybe that was a sign of things were not very nice in a war, So we had ones that were not very reliable. So the engines used to cut out after a while. Quite dangerous.
Thanks very much.
Not at all.
Tell me a bit about the machine guns, please.
Okay, well, the two machine guns on the aircraft, we have here a Vickers machine gun, which was basically a Maxim, and we have a Lewis gun over here. The Lewis gun has a Pan magazine on the top of it here. This Lewis gun was actually placed in the back, and the passenger used to fire the Lewis machine gun, and the Vickers machine gun here was actually placed right in front of the pilot, and that's the reason for this leather padding. The pilot would actually put his head against the leather padding and aim through this piece here, and the machine gun would actually fire out through the propeller. They had an interrupter gear that made sure that none of the bullets actually hit the propeller, and this Vickers machine gun was actually belt fed. Now, the Vickers machine gun, the one that the Army used, was pretty much the same. The only difference between the two of them was that the Army one was water cooled. There was no need for water cooling on the aircraft version. There are some scoops in here that allowed the barrel to be cooled as the aircraft was flying along. So that's your machine guns. The Lewis gun, as I say, is in the passenger's position, and it's fully rotatable, so the passenger would actually rotate round to take aim at any targets that he had. We have a company, and a big engineering company in Edinburgh called, I've forgotten their name, McTaggart Scott, who are building the scarf ring that allows the machine gun to actually be rotated.
They're very realistic looking, aren't they real?
They're not real guns. They've actually been handmade by members of the society. They're made of wood and metal, but you can't fire them.
No.
But they're very realistic.
Very, very realistic. Yeah. I noticed the engine for the aircraft sitting behind you. Can you tell me about that, please?
Yeah, the engine is a Rotec R3600 engine. It's a 9-cylinder radial engine. It's built in Australia, and it's a brand new engine. A lot of people might not realise that you can still buy a brand new radial engine. So it looks exactly the same. It's exactly the same design. Basically the same design as the engines that you used to get on the older aircraft during the First and Second World War, but it's built and manufactured in Australia.
Presumably being built to modern standards, it was built in safety features, and they're much safer than the engine.
Absolutely. The new engine has electronic ignition on it. It has all the modern engine management and measurement systems that you would need to make sure that the engine's running properly.
That's excellent, thanks very much.
Okay.
And as 'neath the wreckage he lay, to the mechanics around him, these parting words he did say. To take the crankshaft and assemble the engine.